Hey guys, welcome back. It's another episode of Macintosh Keyboard Hacking, and on the agenda today, a little bit of time with the LTE card. It's a Sierra Wireless. It's a Category 6 based thing there that I've been trying to get going on Verizon. I had originally purchased that card to use with wrong screen. I originally purchased the card for use with Sprint back when Boost Mobile was a big thing because it supports the TDM based LTE in band 41. So that's the card that I have. I've been using you see the same thing pictured in different places online. It's basically just the card itself is an M2 interface. So I've got this little box that takes and plugs that into USB. It's kind of neat. It's got a SIM card. It's not very convenient at all, but it's there. And this module, I never really wound up using it as I had expected to. The technical side of flashing it and getting Linux to recognize the interface was really just kind of a pain at the time. I think probably it's gotten a little bit better. Qualcomm has a specialized language to talk to these things, and those tools are always, being improved and so forth. So I've been taking a look at that. So let's just dive right in. There's my. Let's go to the right plug. And just like everything else these days, this is sort of a embedded microprocessor. It boots up an operating system to start itself as a USB device. There's two main languages this thing supports, in addition to the AT commands that you may be familiar with. MBIM is a more, I want to say it's Microsoft based as a standard. But yeah, what we're looking at, it's the Dw5811e Snapdragon X7 chip. Like I mentioned previously, it's a Category 6 device. That gives us 50 meg in the upstream, which is my primary interest with this. The stream coming out of this stream here goes up at about 35 meg. And so thought it would be nice to try and stream over the LTE, and to do that I'm going to need some bandwidth, so I'm going to need some radios, and then look a little bit more in at MPTCP. Apparently this is the future. Verizon is not entirely transparent to it as far as cellular providers go, but I was reading this this open MPTCP router seems like it's going to be the way to go. Like a lot of these sort of aggregation services, Peplink, I guess, is a company that makes hardware that does that. They have a sort of a back-end proxy option as well. That's why they try and bundle it with the data. And there's a few, I think, Speedify. I believe that's a software-based thing that works primarily on a single computer. I didn't really look into that, but this OpenMPTC, so many letters. It's primarily an OpenWRT, I think, behind the scenes. So that'll be a good solution. One problem people report with these sort of VPNs and accelerators, most of the time, all these sessions have to combine in a central router, kind of like a VPN type arrangement. And a lot of those virtual servers, Amazon, I think the one that these guys recommend, they get blacklisted, or they get listed as data centers essentially as known VPN endpoints, and then content providers like Netflix and Hulu and stuff won't let you stream from that address. So here I actually have a large amount of downstream. We've got a gigabit coming in, and so that's more than enough to host the server part here, and still fit. Gosh, if I can get enough to saturate my 35 meg upstream, then I'm doing something right. So we'll start there and see where that gets to. This all came about. I recently sort of made a lifestyle change. Wound up selling my car for this to pre-order one of these new Segway GT3 Pro scooters. It's good up to 50 miles an hour or 85 mile on a charge. So that seemed like finally something that was going to allow me to, I don't know, do away with the car. I've always been, slightly jealous of, folks that are able to live, downtown in a city without having to park and go to the gas station and all. So, yeah. So obviously, fancy new scooter, gonna need some upgrades. Built-in LTE support seemed like it would be a good one. If we're out, camping or running around, nice to know that we got a solid data connection we can count on. So the engineering there, I think I'm looking to use Raspberry Pis. I would assume a Raspberry Pi 4 as the primary, processing, entertainment, encoding, anything that, has speed as a, factor, so routing. And then probably some way to integrate, this is a Raspberry Pi 3. It's got some peculiarities that don't exist in the 4, which is to say a potentially higher GPU performance. It does have potentially faster memory access from a latency perspective. So we're talking more about wait states than throughput. It is unfortunately limited to a single USB 2 interface. My plans with something like this would be to use it as a sort of a aggregator of sorts. So for example, with a multi-port USB hub, this could master that quite effectively. The Pi 3, also because it's only got a single USB port, also supports operation as a USB device. So that's a functionality I use with Raspberry Pi 4s quite a lot, because you have both 2 and 3, on that platform. But that could be a way to kind of get a little bit more, out of that device. So yeah, so fun times. So yeah, there's sort of the back end justification. See if we can get some Wi-Fi on the scooter powered by routers. Probably use just these Ubiquiti nanostations. Seems like I could just zip tie that to the handlebars, get some connectivity in and out of there. Now all I got to do is make the LTE work. So out of the box, this, as I mentioned, was a Dell unit. I find it spits its AT interface up on TTY2. Well, that didn't work at all. Oh, no, that's not how it works anyway. Yeah, because you get a serial port setup. Yeah, we're already flagged as TTY USB 2. This AT interface seems to always be available. I've been working with cellular modems for, a number of years, number of platforms. I spent a lot of time with the like the Samsung the traditional S3 droids. That was wound about iPhone 3. Anyway, so that's a similar, baseband. A lot of the same things work. This card has sort of a peculiarity. You have to unlock it to tell it that you should be allowed to execute cool commands. course, I did that on an entirely different computer that I don't have the logs for in front of me. Let's see. Well, God, it was something stupid like CGND. Let's look at some of the other content. Got a bunch of good information from this guy, Daniel, and some of his Sierra Wireless. Looks like they reverse engineered some of the stuff there. Unfortunately, communication with the modem requires a vendor-provided binary, so that's a little bit of a downer. Because what happens, it's more than just the serial port. There's also a it ultimately presents something like an Ethernet interface. So there's two main modes of operation, this MBIM, and I think the other one is QMI, sort of Qualcomm stuff there. All right, so here's our unlock. I know exactly what that stands for. Enter CND. So not apparently case sensitive there. Nope, you come back. You go away. Yeah, so the first few commands that we see used in this script, I guess this used to be part of the Gobi product line. So we see, some of the commands can also be prefixed with that. So I have got it flashed to Verizon here. There's a confusing version structure with that. EM7555. I mean, kudos to where's the support? Kudos to this company for actually providing support resources. Apparently, a lot of carriers have specific firmware requirements. Verizon is the most well known to me of just being jerks about firmware. You can't put a non-Verizon certified device on their network, under any circumstances. Probably some ways around that, but they're not alone. Canadian provider Rogers, Bell, Vodafone, and TELUS, I think, is Australian. Dalcomo is Japan, we know that. So at one point they were giving us signed Windows executables. That seems to have apparently stopped with some of these newer ones, but that was the way I originally was able to flash it to the Verizon firmware. And what I really want to do is flash it harder, if that makes sense. Let's see. This one here. Yeah, we can see that this device has 4 slots for firmware. And, apparently even has the original, firmware it came with. I'm a little confused about how some of these other how the update software decides which slot to use, I can see that I am going to want to have multiple firmwares available. It looks like you're able to set both your preferred build and config as well. You can kind of mix and match those, I think. That config can include band preferences. So, for example, you're going to get a faster lock. B41, I think, is only Sprint. So, you don't need to search that band if you're not on a Sprint, firmware and config. So they give you some data and some stuff. You're able to choose which image you boot from. I mean, that sounds like a good URL. Of course. And, I don't know, back in 2022 when people cared about category 6 wireless cards. All right. All right. Oh, it's the same. Was there ever an earlier Verizon? No. My understanding is that somewhere around what's called firmware 209, there was a change in how the encryption happened, so that if you're going from a super old version, you need to stop at 209 before going forward again. I can't confirm that's actually with this chip, so I'm not 100% sure that's relevant, but things like that always make me nervous. All right, so yeah, so what you do is you're able to specify a preferred carrier. So if we say currently I prefer Verizon, so let's say that I want to flash back to generic. This is untested. Generic. All right, well, that seems consistent. So does that mean I can just reset? That device is slow to disappear. All right, and are we back? That's fine. So my plan was to boot back to the oldest firmware on there, the 208 that it came with, that we'll see. What? Sure isn't resetting very fast. So I have used this RMA reset, and it does seem to clear the boot configuration preference. So soon as having, well, my LTE light went out finally. All right, and here we are back on the stock firmware. So there's all my secret numbers. I have definitely seen references to people making bad choices with the IMEI in their devices, in these Sierra Wireless products. I don't know what's involved in that. That's felony territory. And again, it would be one thing if you were doing it in a Faraday cage or in a private network, or if you actually knew what you were doing. But I see a lot of people doing stupid stuff, and then, yeah, obviously, their cards don't work anymore. So, yeah, don't mess with that. All right, so previously we were on Verizon. We had some, these are the cellular data PDP contexts. Now that we're back in, what was that other command? Let's go up here and see it. Nope. All right, image pref. Let's just look at that again. All right, now it likes itself and everybody's happy. I don't know if we looked in detail, but IMEI service 4 is like it's a declined message. So what had brought all that up is I had located Do you not trust me? I really thought that was a command. Oh, because I'm in the old, terrible firmware. Yes. Let's see, just out of curiosity. Be interesting to see if there are any bands that don't belong there. Like as if we can select bands that we have no reason to select. All right, where is the format? Okay, sure. Yeah, and so then highlighting some of the command, this is a pretty common command syntax. Question queries equals question actually gives you work, or the operation instructions. I saw somewhere that God, if I could type. Zero comma zero. Slot index. And that was pretty aggressive because we formatted all of the firmwares. Now let's take that one step further. Yeah, so stupid AI, but there's the command. And then what was the other one? It's either there were two. That's why. It's RMA reset, and there's another one. NV restore. All right. And reset equals 1. Oh, NV restore, that just causes it to All right, so now if we reset, we should be pretty goofed up. And then from there, we're going to take a look at things in the Windows land. This doesn't look any particularly different. That was a fast reboot. What? It didn't drop me. Where is it? F image. No firmware. Slot status good. So does that mean, so I want to get rid of that too. Delete, config. Come on. Ah. All right, that saved that. No config, please. Okay, blue light on the modem went out. Modem is back. All right, and we're still in there as a Dell. well, that's definitely empty. I'm not sure how it thinks it's booting or whatever it thinks it's doing. Now I need the secret handshake. So we have plenty of indications that things are not kosher with this. Clearly it's trying to register to the network though, so I'm not sure. It says it's online on 3G, which is a little unexpected. All right, let's go. All right, let's make it a Sierra Wireless. That is interesting, because I probably still have not become legit. Well, that's troublesome. Troublesome indeed. Don't like it. All right, at least we know that we've successfully deleted everything. So let's pop back over to Windows land here. Just going to unplug that modem from Linux. Wait for the booting. Sure, there's a better way to go about this, but I'll at least stop it. Go. All right, did I get my modem? Sure did, it looks happy. No indication of what actually happened. This is the executable I got from Sierra Wireless. So I'm just going to use that to flash the card. Not sure what the precise goal here is. It just seemed that since there were 4 firmwares in the modem, and didn't really seem like there's maybe some overlap in naming or version numbers, that might be cleaner to just get rid of all that and find a way to update all that stuff myself manually. So here in a second, I'm going to switch over to Intel architecture Linux and see if I can use that fancy script of theirs to at least change the vendor or whatever. They're pretty big firmware images. Trying to remember. The software came with another. Yeah, I thought that was going to be right. 64 megabytes a piece. So try and avoid, flashing this thing just from a time standpoint. And then also came with all these. This is the Dell driver installation. A lot of customized somethings. I don't really know what they are, but all right. And modem seems happy again. All right, pop back to Linux. Nope. Not A. It's... All right, back on the 233, and yeah, we see the IMEI service level is not 4. It's 4 plus 16, whatever that means. Oh, well, you looky there. That got rid of that 2.08 altogether. I hope that's what I wanted. Sometimes it's nice to be able to go back to an old version, but this stuff is old enough. I'm sure there's still external SPI flash chips. All right, well, that's... I don't know if progress is quite the word I would use. Well, let's jack it up with that third-party software now. Let's see. Oh, come on. 114.152. All right, VMware. What do you think that's about? Yes. Yeah, because apparently all of the Microsoft Secure Boot things were broken. Interesting. Yeah. Create 2023. All right. Let's see if we can get that modem over there. Went to that hub. Ooh, just came right up. How nice of it. What was that thing called? Yeah, that's what we want. Auto Flash 7455. That's fine. I really just wanted to copy the link. Do it this way. Why is it so hard? Yes, please. Yep, just run that random executable as root. All right, well, let's get some more insight. Bunch of stuff. Rootkit my machine. Getting some stuff that seems irrelevant. A lot of words. Not sure why I'm obsessing with getting everything changed. Probably just because I can. Also, I guess it will change the device that's reported to Verizon, so maybe it does that. And I guess I need all this stuff. Sure is building a lot of stuff. All right, what are we looking at here? Got some configuration. Yeah, so I was able to get, I don't think I'm going to gain any functionality from changing the firmware. I think I had that working well enough as is. Guess we will get a GPS port by default, which is not really too relevant. Oh, things are happening. Oh, look at all these things happening. It's enabled the NMEA port, NMEA. Oh, good. This is what I wanted to see, all of these texty things. Interesting. Not quite seeing all this stuff enumerated in other ways. I don't know what the fuck that's about. All right, so it's covered. It's quote like checked all the things. Okay, good. I can disable GPS because I don't need it. I do need IPv6. This apparently is a way that wildcards are written. All right, so it did wipe everything, same as I did. Well, I'm glad that we went through all that. Where did that leave us? Because it just wiped my modem, I think. Let's see, download modem firmware. Yeah. I wonder if it did its thing, in spite of, failing miserably. This MAC address is different. Ooh, manufacturer maybe? All right, we are still at EM7455. All right, that deleted all the stuff. That did happen. X30C. Yes, you've done all these things. This thing has happened. All right, well, cool that you've chosen to do this. Different MAC address again. All right, change it, please. Sure is a lot of rebooting the modem for not having been able to download the firmware. Blah, 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 blah. Can I get that file? Yeah, that hasn't existed for a while. Which one? That happened a long time ago. Let's see if this will accomplish it here. So I wonder which one is better. Like, what do you think PTCRV? Southern Link 3303 7201. I mean, let's take it. Wow, that's a really horrible URL. And yet that is actually the URL. All right, you can stop, except that you can't. Go away. No, you can't cancel it. Can that just be the length? It would be cool if it could do it without rebooting. 400 times. Come on. All right, let's try it that way. It's already been done. Well, good. That worked a lot better. Curious to see what the Windows thinks of it after this. I'm hoping all this gets it to the point that it's more intuitive how to work in multiple profiles at once. So, in an ideal world, it would switch firmwares automatically based on whether or not, based on the SIM card. So, let's see what the Windows thinks. This is definitely looks different. Yes, I do. That was decades ago. Well, that's not happy. And I guess that's to be expected from changing the PID and vid. Thought it would be smarter than all that. Let's see. Sure, let me pick. Is it a modem? Huh. It's a 14.4 fax modem action. Well, maybe it will. Yes, please. Not sure whether I really gained anything from changing the driver or changing the IDs there. Now I got to fight with that. Can I just get a driver? Why do I have to sign in to get a driver? I didn't have to sign in to get the firmware. All right, Panasonic. What are you offering me here? No, Panasonic, that's not helpful. All right, sketchy third-party driver site. Great, give it to me. Give me the malware. No, that's not it. Yeah, if I could just have some more pop-ups, that would be great. Lenovo. Yeah, with a name like that, it's got to be good. We work on 7. Well, that was a legitimate file name anyway. We get something older. 2017, I can't imagine it doesn't work. I don't know how to verify any of those things on Windows. Is that something that 7-Zip wants to help with? Oh, 0474. Yep. Well, how nice. Come on, Lenovo. Let's make this work. Yeah, the Lenovo card seems to work more with the stock Sierra Wireless stuff. So, all right, Sierra Wireless, do it. I don't know why it takes 375 megabytes to identify a USB device, but there you go. Some nice obsolete firmwares. Some nice unsigned driver action there. Okay, ready to use, you say. What does that mean? Doesn't look ready to use. There is no online. Just be a little smarter, maybe. I don't know why. Guess I should have left it the other way. Let's see. Oh, good. All devices. Well, that was a waste of time. Why can't that work? Oh, Windows. Hmm. That's fine. Well, shucks. That's not the end of the world because I am successfully flashing under Linux. Oh, that's a pretty fresh flash. Service level 23, that's a new one. I am ultimately going to have to put together a whole Linux environment because that's where the routing's going to come from. That is interesting. All right, well, I think I'm going to leave this for now. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. This has been focused on the MC7455, which I've now kind of broken. I didn't really get it to connect, but I'll mess with that later and get some scripts together. So, all right, well, yeah. Gotta get it together before my Segway GT3 Pro gets here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to, get an outfit like that guy. Fun stuff. 7,000 watts. Just 2 weeks. So gonna be fun. All right, well, thanks for showing up, and there it is. Bye-bye now.